Man, let's talk about some of these these last couple of NFL coaching hires, man, because we got into a nice spirited conversation in the group chat
It
about
did. It got spirited. I didn't know it was going to turn into that.
The last two coaching positions were filled since we last convened. Arizona Cardinals hired Mike Lafleur, previously the offensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams for the past couple of seasons. Before that, he was the Jets offensive coordinator. Let's see. And of course, I've been effusive in my praise of Sean McVay. However, we kind of know who is the play caller in Los Angeles. So I'll reserve my judgment on the hire until we see how it shakes out. They obviously need a QB. They need some defensive help, probably a few offensive pieces as well. So what are your thoughts on that hire? Do you have strong feelings one way or the other?
No, not really. It just sounds like a safe hire.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the trend.
Yeah.
Everyone's looking for the next, young, offensive whiz kid, that especially now with the quarterback position. Well, it's nothing new. The quarterback position has always been,
of course,
heavily coveted. But, just the diversity of the quarterback position in terms of just being able to do so many things and offensively, just the way, offense is schemed now.
Yeah.
Everyone's looking for that next whiz kid. So, it's not a big deal to me or a big shocker.
What do you think they're going to do at quarterback? You got any thoughts about that? What would you do? Would you test the free agent market? Would you try to take a flyer on a draft pick? What's the kid from Ty Simpson? Would you go for the kid from Alabama and try to give him a whirl? I mean, does he? Do you think Ty Simpson is the answer as an NFL QB?
I think the jury's still out.
I agree.
I think maybe you kick the tires in free agency and buy yourself a little time.
Yeah, maybe and wait for that 27 draft. Yeah, because the 27 draft is supposed to be a little stronger. I mean, yeah, like with the Ty Simpson thing, I think that we've seen that it's so the quarterback situation more and more, I think, is revealing itself to be so environmental. Like if the environment is right, if the system is right, you can get I'm not going to say you can turn anybody into a star, but you can get the most out of any quarterback.
Sam Darnold.
Yeah. Brock Purdy. You know what I'm saying? Like we've seen that you can get the most out of any quarterback, irrespective of how much raw talent they have.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that if you got Ty Simpson, like is Ty Simpson as good a thrower of the football as Brock Purdy? I mean, I don't know. Like I'm not trying to take a dig at Brock Purdy. I'm just comparing athletic profiles and, arm strength.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is he as good a thrower of the football as Brock Purdy? Perhaps. Maybe you could get him into the right system and get the right pieces around him and he could flourish. What you got, nephew?
I was just going to ask, you really would think about Ty Simpson as the number 3 pick in the whole draft?
No, I would not. No, but
I think that's a non-starter off the rip.
Yeah,
I'm not passing on Arvell Reese or Ruben Bay.
No,
or I'm not. It's too much talent that I'm going to pass on them to take a Ty Simpson.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Arizona has too many needs in order to do that. No, I would not. But I'm just, because we were talking specifically about the quarterback position. I'm like, would you try and maybe, because, maybe there's a deal to be made to, yes, at the 3 spot, no, I'm not taking him there, but maybe there's a deal to be made to trade up, maybe get into the first round. Maybe he'll still be there in the second round because I'm not quite sure what his draft stock is. You know what I'm saying?
So, you just think about it, is going into when they had the number 1 pick and they got Murray.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta hit when you had the number 1 pick.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
And I know, Baker went the year before, but Baker was bigger than Kyler. He's not much bigger, but he's when you're that size, literally every inch counts.
No, you're right.
You get what I'm saying? And the difference between 5'9" and change and 6 foot is huge.
It is, yeah, especially in the NFL.
You know,
I mean, at the end of the day, I think for both Arizona and the Jets, it's simple. You take the best player available. You kind of chalk it up like, we know the quarterback isn't in this draft for us. We going to go ahead and try to see where we land in 2027.
I agree.
And go from there.
I concur. The only thing is, the pushback that I would give, because philosophically I think you're correct from an organizational standpoint. The problem is that the NFL is firing head coaches like it's going out of style. If you're the head coach, you might not be able to take that approach. You might need to be thinking about, what can I do in order to get somebody into the quarterback position and developing as quickly as possible. I tend to agree with you, nephew. I don't think that Ty Simpson is the answer. There's one quarterback in this draft, and that's Mendoza. Anybody else, you taking a flyer. Right. Like, Ty Simpson is a flyer. Like, again, could he be Brock Purdy? Could you put him in the right system and get something out of him? I think it's possible. Do I think it's probable? I don't know. I mean, I haven't looked at Ty Simpson enough, to be quite frank. I haven't watched enough Alabama football and watched enough Ty Simpson to know whether or not he's that guy, or whether or not you could spend a second-round pick on him and that not be wild. Right. But, you know, I'm just thinking about, like, you think Aaron Glenn got another year of toiling around with the Jets before they get impatient with him and throw him out of there? That's the only question that I would have, because, yeah, I mean, philosophically, you're right. That the philosophy is correct, but I'm not necessarily sure that Aaron Glenn is going to have another year.
No, he can't go 0 for much.
Yeah, right. Season. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he start 0-7, and he's going to be somebody's defensive coordinator hire, and that's just the long and the short of that. But let's move on, man. The Las Vegas Raiders, because nephew had brought up this job. And the quarterback situation here is much clearer. They hired Klint Kubiak, previously the Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator. He's also been the offensive coordinator for the Vikings and then the Saints in 2024. As I said, nephew mentioned this hire, and of course they'll be drafted Mendoza. They have Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers, so they got some nice offensive pieces. They need a lot of help in the trenches, though. They really need a lot of defensive help in general. But what are your thoughts on the Kubiak hire? Any strong feelings there one way or the other?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious what they're trying to do, and which is good. It's like, okay, the Raiders are looking like they have a plan.
Yeah.
And the plan looks like, from so far, it's fluid. Mm-hmm. You know, where it's trickling down from up top. So they anticipate the Mendoza. Mendoza seems to be able to do pretty much all the things that you need a quarterback to do.
Yeah.
So, and not just football in general, you know, when you're talking solidify the trenches, especially for the Raiders brand.
Yes. Right. Like, yeah. Like, you want to be able to run the ball. You want to be able to.
That's got to be a given. Like, you know, like all the trinkets and the sexy stuff, you know, in terms of the offensive weapons. Yeah, that's all extra when you're talking about the Raiders.
Yeah.
You know, like, they're supposed to be known for making you pay.
Yeah.
You know, every snap on both sides of the ball in the trenches. So, yeah, I think it's a good foundation. Like you said, Bowers is one of the few handful of players that I'll always say could have went pro after his freshman year of college.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, Brock Bowers is a monster.
He's an unreal talent, and you don't want to waste years.
Yeah,
of a player of that caliber. And Genty shown flashes. I think he ended the season strong.
Yeah,
So
yep.
Yeah.
So let's address the elephant in the room. Because a lot is being made of the lack of diversity in the hiring process. With a record number of openings this year, that of course being 10, there were no black coaches hired or presumably even seriously considered for the vast majority of the jobs. And I want to talk about something we discussed in the group chat with respect to black coaches on the offensive side of the ball. Because in my lifetime, every black head coach of prominence has been a defensive head coach. And really every black head coach, period,
Uh,
I'm giving you a chance to correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm Dennis.
Denny Green. Okay. Yeah, no, that's a good one.
Yeah, Denny Green.
Denny Green.
R.I.P. Rest in peace.
Yes,
Denny
indeed.
Green.
Yes, indeed. That's
but
a
I
good
mean,
one.
that was 25 years ago.
It was. Currently, I don't think that there are any black offensive coordinators. Again, nephew, you can fact check me on that if I'm wrong. And I personally feel that's kind of an offshoot of the whole black quarterback trope that existed for so many decades, right?
Okay.
While eventually it was undermined by the innumerable number of great players excelling at the position. The defensive side of the ball is considered the more reactive, more brutish, more straightforward, and frankly, more simplistic side of the ball, while offense is considered to be more creative, proactive, intuitive, and complex.
Cerebral.
Yep. Offensive coaches tend to be evergreen like Andy Reid and Mike McCarthy, while defensive coaches tend to age out and have a shelf life like Bill Belichick, Lovie Smith, and Pete Carroll. Defenses is intended to prevent progress, quite literally, as football is a land acquisition game, while offense is about finding innovations, seeing trends, making adjustments, and thinking ahead. I say all that to say that black men interested in coaching in the NFL have deliberately been pushed to the defensive side of the ball. And those who excelled on the offensive side of the ball, like Eric Bieniemy, who we discussed, and Byron Leftwich, have been dismissed as just being products of someone else's genius. And for anyone who thinks that my statements are too bold, I'll remind you that the NFL discontinued the practice of race norming in 2021. And for those who don't know what race norming is, I'll provide the definition and then I'll explain it. By definition, it uses demographic-based formulas to adjust cognitive test scores, which assumed black players had lower baselines for cognitive functions, making it harder for them to prove dementia. The formula assumed a lower baseline intelligence for black individuals, systemically denying compensation for black retirees. It essentially says that white men's prospects are stronger because they have a greater baseline intelligence. So if they were cognitively impaired or injured, it would cost them more financially than it would their black counterpart. So I think it's safe to say that a league that would engage in that kind of practice would question a black man's ability to think strategically.
That's messed up.
It is. And they just continued that in 2021. But I say
George Floyd.
I mean, possibly.
But I'm just saying.
Well, black players filed a lawsuit. That's why they did it.
And
they had to stop doing it. But I say all that to say that they need to allow black offensive coaches to matriculate more regularly than they do.
Yeah.
And stop pushing black players or black former players interested in coaching simply to the defensive side of the ball. Now, again, I'm not saying that, some of those guys are not more interested in the defensive side of the ball. It just seems like a concerted effort because every black guy's name that's associated with the offensive side of the ball tends to fizzle out very quickly.
Definitely seems to be a ceiling there.
Yeah, definitely. What you got, nephew?
I don't like when people make it a black and white thing.
I don't either, but there seems to be something there.
But I'm just about to run. Okay, I just want to run some names around by you. Eric Bieniemy, Brian Leftwich, Pep Hamilton, Marcus Brady, Thomas Brown, Brian Johnson. Those are all people who are black, of African American or black, and have been offensive coordinators in the league.
Okay.
Outside of Eric Bieniemy and Brian Leftwich, does any of those names inspire you?
I mean, no, because none of them have been promoted to head coach. I mean, this is the point. How long were they offensive coordinators? How many opportunities did they get? How many years were they? Because Mike Lafleur.
How many times did Josh McDaniels get to get it right?
Like Josh McDaniels been around for decades on end and has had opportunity after opportunity. Mike Lafleur been an offensive coordinator for 10 minutes, and he's somebody's head coach. Those guys been around for years, and none of them have been a head coach. I think that bolsters my argument more than it does undermine it. I mean, like, they should be able to matriculate to being head coaches just like their white counterparts. That's the point that I'm making. Like, yeah, they allow, even if they allow you to be an OC, they block you. They like, yeah, okay, you just a product of somebody else's genius. You even if they let you call plays like Byron Leftwich, he's interviewed for innumerable head coaching positions.
I mean, to your point, even if we're looking at career as a coordinator, would you can put Raheem Morris's career as a coordinator up against Eric Bieniemy's career as a coordinator?
Yeah, right. And he's had multiple chances.
Raheem's been recycled twice.
Yeah, and he's on the defensive side of the ball.
Coach.
Yeah, they allow defensive coaches to matriculate. They don't allow offensive coaches to matriculate. There's something there. There's a problem there.
Were you inspired by the 2023 Philadelphia Eagles offense?
Yes, I liked it.
The 2023, not 2024, 2023.
Is that the one where they went into the supernatural funk?
Yes.
And finished poorly?
Yes.
Well, I mean, they went into the super. Who was the OC there?
Brian Johnson.
Oh, I mean, yeah, they went into the tank.
Does the 2023 Carolina Panthers offense and the 2024 Chicago Bear offense inspire you?
Not particularly.
That was offensive coordinator by Thomas Brown. See, I like this. My thing, I get what you're saying, and I totally agree with you. But at the same time, we have to look at what they're doing when they have these positions, and of course, you're right. Josh McDaniels has gotten multiple chances to be a head coach,
mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like if these, you have to perform. Like at the end of the day, when we were talking about it, we were talking about Eric Bieniemy. What EB's resume shows me, he's a great running back head coach because he helped develop Maurice Jones-Drew at UCLA. Mm-hmm. He had a hand with Adrian Peterson when he was with the Minnesota Vikings.
Yep.
He did great this year in Chicago with their running backs.
Mm-hmm.
He can be a great offensive coordinator when there's checks and balances in place.
Okay.
Like we say what we say about Sean McVay, I think we could say the same thing about Andy Reid.
Okay, but so then what qualifies Mike Lafleur to be the Arizona Cardinals head coach?
What qualifies Dan Campbell?
Yeah, by that same rationale. Like, I'm
saying at the end of the day, when it comes down to hiring a coach, it should be based on what you feel is the best for the person when you come into that room.
I agree, but if you're going to scrutinize, and this is what we was talking about, if you're going to scrutinize the resume like that, I'm cool with it, but you got to. But everybody's resume has to be scrutinized in the same way. You got to be able to take the blind taste test with everybody's resume. If somebody was coordinating for the Saints and that qualified them to coordinate for the Seattle Sea, what qualified them to matriculate from the Saints, who have the same kind of offense as the ones you were criticizing, to matriculate over to the Seahawks?
I totally agree with you. And at the end of the day, I honestly, just my feeling on Super Bowl coordinator hires, I don't like them at all, period, because they more not often than not, they flame out, mm-hmm. especially on the first one. So yes, there does need to be an improvement on the chances that are given to coaches of minority descent. But I don't think it's solely just they're black, they're white. I just think that there is some play into how they are as coordinators. And I think the ones that get a chance and then it don't get another chance, I think it ain't like they set the world on fire and then they just being held back.
Well, but
I think the Blind Forest one would have been, honestly, I think if Flores would have got a job, it would have felt like, okay, we trying to get rid of that lawsuit. I think that would have been more so on the nefarious side than some other potentials.
But yeah, and again, I appreciate that. But I'm going back. I'm going even before. Forget who's a coordinator and who can matriculate into a head coaching job, because we're talking about the number of
who's going to be allowed to come up as a coordinator.
Correct. Yes, that's more the issue. Is that, like, I appreciate the list that you ran down. That's a paltry number of black men compared to the number of black men that play and that are interested in coaching.
Those the ones that made it out the sifter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like that. The number of black men that actually play and that are interested in coaching, that's a very small number, even that you ran down. Like, even if that's over the past 25 years or the past decade, that's a small number of guys that matriculated to the OC spot. Forget about who got to be a head coach and who got to matriculate to head coach. There should be more guys matriculating even to the OC spot, more guys that are matriculating to the offensive side of the ball. We're not even getting that much matriculation. That's why the attrition that you're talking about, I can respect it, even if you don't think that these guys earned a head coaching job. Why are we having few individuals that are even head coaching candidates? That's really more the problem. And on the offensive side of the ball, I don't think there's any black offensive coordinators currently.
I think that's more. From my experience, I think that's a football problem in general. I don't think that's an NFL problem.
But we talking about the NFL.
I know that, but I feel like that it has to start somewhere. And to say that, let's be real, they're not really getting those chances to be a coordinator at the college level. Yes, it is more prominent, but that's like, you're not going to get those chances if you're not even getting a chance at the college level. And I don't think and I just think that that's more of, it's a widespread football problem, not necessarily just the NFL problem.
I said that. I said that black individuals who are interested in coaching are pushed toward the defensive side of the ball. I didn't say that it was just the NFL. I agree. I think that that is a football problem.
Right.
But we're talking about the NFL.
So you're saying the stigma has moved from the black quarterback per se,
right,
to higher up now, to the sideline.
Correct. Yeah.
Whereas before, blacks weren't smart enough to play quarterback. Going back
and I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
And I'm just trying to put it in layman terms.
Yeah.
And I think you're saying now that has more or less been domesticated to the head coaching position, or even coordinator, or just offensive position coaches. The mental side of football is being safeguarded and gate kept.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what we're getting to.
Yep.
It is moved from the quarterback position
to
not, because now, they can't run from that. They need Lamar. And we can go on and on and on and name the black quarterback that have come through since Doug.
And the thing is that they don't really want a black offensive head coach
because it goes
destroy
from there
that stigma. Yeah.
To where?
Right.
Because if it mutates, or progresses.
Then y'all going to the front office. Then y'all going into ownership.
Not that O word.
Yeah, that part.
Okay.
But
I'm picking up what you're putting down.